All right, Saagar, what are your breaking points?
Wow, I love that. Okay. The reason I am sitting at this beautiful desk today is because of the Iraq War. All my politics start there. The outrage that I felt at watching American soldiers die for a despicable lie, it still sticks with me to this day. And of course, those who ordered our sons into battle for nothing are most responsible. And those who carried the lie on their behalf when their job was to do the opposite, they bear a lot of the blame too. I never thought I would actually live to see another screw-up as bad as the Iraq WMD. But I was wrong, and that has become increasingly evident in the last several weeks, as the evidence mounts that coronavirus may have leaked from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Now, a hypothesis which has been denigrated, debunked, dismissed, cast aside, all but written off by our corporate press for over a year based upon a single premise: they just hated Trump. Hating Trump is not good enough of a reason to cover up a true investigation into the worst pandemic in a century. And as more information enters the public domain, the worse the media looks. It's like September 2004 all over again. The truth is slowly dripping out. And instead of acknowledging their mistake and coming clean with the American people, the cover-up only continues. That is the current state of the situation, with the latest release of Dr. Anthony Fauci's emails. Now, many Republicans and others have made a lot of the emails regarding Fauci's own lies around masks and the pandemic guidance. That's a whole other monologue in itself. But in my opinion, the original question remains the most pressing. Did coronavirus leak from the Wuhan lab? While we do not have the full picture, the initial one emerging from Fauci's emails are stunning. Fauci's emails show on January 31st, 2020, after COVID's genome was decoded, he received an email from the virus had, quote, unusual features, and that, quote, one has to look really closely at all the sequences to see that some of the features potentially look engineered. Oh, really? The email continues. He and his team, quote, all find the genome inconsistent with expectations from evolutionary theory. You know what something inconsistent with evolutionary theory means? It means man-made. Now, the especially stunning part is that the author of that email in January of 2020 was himself the ringleader of a statement in March of 2020, which declared unequivocally, quote, we do not believe any type of laboratory-based scenario is plausible. What changed? Well, politics did. The exact opposite of what science is supposed to be concerned with. It was in February of 2020 that Senator Tom Cotton first appeared on the Fox News channel and posited that coronavirus may have come from the Wuhan lab. Now, it spawned a million takes and debunkings from the mainstream media, and the theory was quickly recited by President Trump and Secretary Pompeo as well. The culture war is the best thing that ever happened to Dr. Fauci and these scientists. Why? Because they all had an institutional interest in making sure that the potential truth never came to light, that coronavirus was a result of gain-of-function research, a type of research they all spent their lives championing and directing millions of dollars towards in service of allegedly trying to stop a pandemic. The gravy train dries up if the lab leak hypothesis is true, so they were happy to be media darlings of the last year in service of standing up against Trump to cover up what could actually be the truth. Now, the email is particularly damning because it reveals not only did the top scientists involved in declaring coronavirus natural origin definitely disregard their own findings, but it shows that Fauci was not being clear with the American people. In this May 2020 interview with National Geographic, he states, quote, if you look at the evolution in virus and bats and what's out there, the scientific evidence is very, very strongly leaning toward this could not have been artificially or deliberately manipulated. Everything about the stepwise evolution over time strongly indicates that this virus evolved in nature and then jumped species. Oh, really? The evidence strongly leans that way, huh? Well, not according to information he was directly aware of 4 months before that interview. And worse, the emails also reveal that in April of 2020, Dr. Peter Daszak, the person whose nonprofit funneled money from Fauci to the Wuhan lab, emailed Fauci saying, quote, I just wanted to say a personal thank you on behalf of our staff and collaborators for publicly standing up and stating that the scientific evidence supports a natural origin for COVID-19. Just a reminder, Daszak is the only American attached to the World Health Organization team who concluded that the lab leak theory was not true. When he was asked why, this was his literal response to 60 Minutes. Let's take a listen.
Do you audit the lab? And they said, annually. Did you audit it after the outbreak? Yes. Was anything found? No. Do you test your staff? Yes. No
But you're
one was.
just taking their word for it.
Well, what else can we do? There's a limit to what you can do, and we went right up to that limit.
The more information that comes to light, the more we begin to see the makings of an immense conspiracy of public health establishment seemingly caught in a gigantic mistake, in the media assisting them with a cover-up because they hate Trump, and more than a years-long gaslighting of the American people about one of the worst crises in modern memory. Now, in a normal country, what I just told you would be on the nightly news, but this is how NBC is covering it. You can't even make these things up. After a year of lies, the media cannot admit the truth because it shows just how badly they screwed this up. And luckily, we're here to tell you what they won't. Thank you for tuning in to my very first Breaking Points monologue. It's just the first of many. And I think, Crystal,